Make the phone ring, have the initial hopes and dreams conversation, nurture that lead to complete the application, and then hand up the file to your pre-approval teams.
Yo, we have Wade Betz here in season 2 of The Way. And man, he is, well, I'll say it this way. He's spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching. So as you can imagine, he's regurgitating a lot of valuable information here. So you're going to hear how he retains or gets 65% of his business from his past database, past clients. And you're going to hear his sales tracker, the 80-20 rule. That one is really where it's at. I think you're going to love hearing the details of all that. And of course, my favorite, always at the end, the $1 million drop. What he's going to do if he was a brand new loan officer in a seasoned loan officer with no connections in a brand new environment where he knows nobody. Really detailed. He's going to fill us in here. My man, Wade Betz. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So we had some technical difficulties the first time, but here we are. And I just have this feeling it's going to be even better because we had to work at it here. So
Exactly.
I'm excited to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell everybody who you are personally and professionally.
I love how you phrase that. So Wade Betz, I've been in the mortgage industry since 2006. That's who I am professionally. I spent the first 14 years of my career in retail at, frankly, a wonderful mortgage company. I was lucky enough to be hired by a fantastic mentor. That man is one of the reasons why I give so much back to the community, because I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't have people along the way that helped support me. About 6 years ago, I got into the broker side. And then quickly fell in love with the correspondent side of being a broker. And it's been just fantastic. So I'm a big fan of that model specifically, but every model has its perks. So that's the professional stuff. I've done this 20 plus years. I've closed 2,000 plus families for nearly $1 billion in volume. I'm currently actively producing. I lead a large branch, and I also am chief strategy officer, leading all sales strategy for my brokerage. So, got my fingers in some pies. Now, personally, born and raised in New Orleans. Okay, I was an All-American swimmer in high school. That was back when I had cheekbones, and those ships have sailed, my man. Trying to get them back, but then I came to Dallas, Texas, to attend SMU. I was originally going to swim, but when I got here, all of the team was like wearing their gold medals from the Olympics, and it's like that's not me. I was not going to be on a Wheaties box. I didn't want to be a swim coach, so I ended up not swimming in college, and just enjoyed myself. And then my wife, same thing, except her sport was soccer, and SMU was ranked like top 5 in the country or something at that time. And so she enjoyed her college experience. We started dating in 1999. Okay. So my kids tease us that, we've been dating since the last millennium. But we've been married this is our 20th year this year. So we dated a couple of years beforehand. Thank you. She's put up with a lot. And now we have 2 boys. They're basically 15 and 17. And they keep me on my toes. All right. So they're quick to remind me that I peaked in high school. Whenever I talk about the swimming thing, it's like, oh, okay. So, but I still live here in Dallas, and actually go back and forth to New Orleans a decent amount to go see my folks, because my family's still down there. Like, I'm talking like French Quarter. So it's like really fun to go see them.
I heard it's just dirty over there, man. Like, in every aspect of what that word means.
You don't want to wear open toe shoes. We'll just leave it at that.
I've never been. I remember my wife went a long time ago before she was my wife, and she came back, and she's like, "That makes Vegas look like child's play."
It can. Like, so I've really not missed a Mardi Gras ever. I ride in the Mardi Gras float every year. Back when I was a teenager, it was no big deal to throw like 1,000, pitches essentially with the Mardi Gras beads. now I come out of that, I basically need to have like my arm in a sling for like a week just to recover. So it definitely hits harder than it used to.
All right, so that's the crazy side of bets that we don't know, but now we do. But here's what I heard. I heard we should be listening to you today because you've done nearly $1 billion worth of business,
Mhm.
and you run a big team branch, right?
Yep.
But you also produce. So there's a lot that's there, and I know firsthand that's very difficult to do. So I definitely want to hear that. Heard you've been married a long time, which means you have longevity, and you're doing something right because that is a very difficult thing.
Yeah.
And congrats
Really.
to that.
Thank you.
I heard that your wife puts up with a lot, but I don't know any wife that doesn't put up with a lot with a mortgage guy as her husband. That is in itself a feat all itself. But the other thing is two boys. A little bit older. Yours are a little bit older than mine. I got two boys that are 11 and 14. He just turned 14.
Mm.
And man, it is the craziest thing, right? Like I'll still whoop their butt and they're still afraid of me, but I can see them inching towards that moment. They want to take me. And my little guy, the older one now, he's kind of over wanting to take me. Like we're both pretty big now. But the little guy at 11, he still dreams of whooping my butt. I'm like, dude, you try that one more time and I'm going to take you down so hard. You're never going to think about whooping your dad's butt again. But he can't help himself. That testosterone is like flowing, man. And he wants it.
Dino, I had, it was the very beginning of COVID. So my oldest was 11 at the time. We went to a track to like run around the track because my youngest son had a track meet. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I could beat like you like it was hard for me to win now. Being kind to him. He literally looked me dead in the eye and said, Dad, the only thing that you can dominate me at is paying taxes. It's like you're killing me. You're killing me.
That's great. That's great. All
Yeah,
right, dude. So let's go because I got a ton of questions for you here.
go for it.
What's the one thing you do best? Maybe even better than most.
I would say it would have to be with my calendar management. So if I pulled up my calendar right now, you would see it's pretty dialed in specifically in the morning. So my mornings, Monday through Friday, start the exact same every single day, and I can just rattle this off for you really quick. So like, I have pretty big health goals. So like right now, I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and I'm working out in the morning. Like, and that's usually like treadmill and maybe some weights, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm working out in the morning. Then I've got some buffer time in my calendar to basically get dressed and everything like that. Have breakfast. And then when 8 o'clock rolls around, I have social selling in my calendar. So 8 to 8:30 is social selling. So I'm putting out my social content. I'm doing custom happy birthday videos that I'm sending to people's private messages for all of my Facebook friends. And then I spend the rest of the time engaging with my audience. From 8:30 to 9, I lead a breakfast club meeting for my company. Essentially, I rip that off from Carl White blatantly. So R&D is my favorite term, rip off and duplicate. So I talk about the theme of the day. We do some spot training. Like tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about a realtor prospecting playbook that I built for my branch that I'm going to release to the whole company. So like, there's things like that that we'll do 8:30 to 9, and then from 9 to 11, it's Ringmasters Power Hour. So growth only coaching. They have Ringmasters on Monday. We do it every single day. And Dino, what I find is that participation starts dropping as you start doing some of these higher level tasks. So like we'll have dozens and dozens of people on Breakfast Club, but like usually single digit people on Ringmasters. And guess what? The people that are showing up to both in particular, but Ringmasters especially, guess what? They're growing their business faster than everyone else. Oh, what a shock. What a shock. I tell you, I'm just so surprised. But at 11 o'clock, that's the first time that I'm reacting to anything in my day. So no text messages, no private messages, no emails, no phone calls. Like from 11 to 12, I'm reacting. So before that, like it's hard to get a hold of me. So like You could get through. You have my personal cell phone, but no one else does. So, like, no one else is getting through. I have my phone on do not disturb because I need to make my calls by noon. You know, the whole Todd Bookspan win by noon? Like, if we don't win by noon, like, we're in mortgage, the afternoon is gonna go haywire. And so my afternoons do sometimes tend to go haywire, or I have a lot of meetings and stuff like this. Like, I don't schedule anything in the morning. Mornings is just for the phone, proactive phone work. So I'm pretty dialed in with my calendar, and it took me a long time to get there. And you don't have to be perfect. So for everyone listening to this, like, just win 3 out of 5 days, you'll win the week. Win 3 out of 4 weeks, you'll win the month. Win 9 out of 12 months, you'll win the year. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent at it.
100%. 100%. So, what is Breakfast Club and how long does it last?
It's just 30 minutes. So literally, we'll go over the theme of the day. So every day of the week has a different theme, and I'll just rattle those off. So like Monday, we're calling realtors. Tuesday, we're doing Tuesday updates. Wednesdays, we're doing our pre-approved and looking calls. Thursdays, we're doing past clients. And then Friday, we're doing our centers of influence. So I'll go over some scripting. A lot of it is repetition. And frankly, my words don't have to be your words, et cetera. So my whole point in all this is just take some nuggets of what I'm saying and find the one thing that resonates with you that day and then just go do it. And then a lot of times, like at the end of the day, I want to talk about what they want to talk about. So like they'll have sometimes completely unrelated questions. Like one of my LOs asked me about teaching CE. So like I'm in Texas. I went through the effort of starting a CE school in Texas. So all of my Texas loan officers can teach CE under me. But he wanted to teach it in Florida. Well, I don't have a CE school in Florida. So I had to provide a different solution that exists. There's like a setup fee, and then you can get whatever class you want added. But of course, there's a fee to do that. But it exists. There's a third party company that you can teach CE through. And so that's what I had to set it up. He was disappointed that I didn't have a CE school. Well, guess what? Like, it's a pain in the butt to set up a CE school. I'm not gonna do that in all 50 states. Are you crazy? But for Texas, this is where I'm at, like, I have that. So I've got plenty of LOs that teach CE, and I went through the process of getting 33 classes CE approved in Texas. So it's a big piece of my prospecting is to be the subject matter expert. And just for anyone listening that wants to do the same, I would tell you, map out a training calendar where you pick a topic per month, like a theme of the month, and your goal is to teach that class as many times as possible in that month. Pro tip, title companies are the best ones to help facilitate that.
And what's the Ringmaster's Power Hour?
That's literally just a phone power hour. So we're on a Zoom, we're muted, and we're just making dials, and we put wins in the chat. So, like, depending on how the meeting starts,
Oh,
like
so
sometimes
everybody's doing their calls and
yeah,
everybody's watching you do your calls, but nobody can hear you.
correct. Yeah, and I'll do some scripting in the beginning if necessary, but really it's 2 hours of phone calls.
And do you also make your phone calls during that time?
Yeah. Yeah, so the order in which I make these calls, again, just for your audience here, I call leads first that I haven't had an initial consultation with, so they get called first, then the theme day calls, then any other CRM calls that I need to make. So leads, leads, theme day, then CRM calls, and like birthday calls and stuff like that. Like I call everybody for their birthday the day before. Like today, I had 4 people having birthdays tomorrow that I called to wish them happy birthday. Yesterday, it was 9 people, and so on and so forth. So it's a lot.
You are one disciplined SOB.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
I do have
Love it.
my hello work till you don't have to introduce yourself artwork behind me.
Okay, so another thing, in talking with you prior, you were very proud of the fact I think you said you have 65% retention rate with your client base.
So 65% of my closings each year come from my past client database. And so I think it's imperative that loan officers have a rock solid post client retention system. And that needs to be a combination of offense and defense. So like what I mean by that is like defense could be like a monitor based type of a setup. where you're monitoring your past client database for credit leads, like credit triggers, or listing alerts where they listed their property for sale. So, like I had one of those today where I got a listing alert. Well, guess what? They got a phone call. Hey, just wanted to check in, see how everything's going, make sure you don't need anything. The funny part is if you like, you don't want to tell them like, oh, I'm monitoring you. Yeah, exactly. That's a little creepy, but like, so I don't approach it that way. But it's funny because I know they listed their house, and it's funny when I get them on the phone. Some of them like, oh no, everything's good. Well, thank is it? So, but that's an example of defense, and before you ask, "Is that a credit trigger? I thought those were illegal." No, you've got an existing relationship with your client, you can absolutely do that. So that's what I'm talking about playing defense. Then there's services like, Home IQ, that will that's an offensive play. So that is a service for all of you that know, it'll send you a monthly, AMV. And so essentially what I don't say that though. I say, "Hey, I'm gonna set you up with this. It's gonna send you a monthly, real estate wealth digest to help you track and grow your net worth with real estate. I think you'll love it. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe, but I'm gonna send it every month, and it'll help you track how your property is performing." And those open rates are 70, 80%. And Home IQ specifically, their data source, it also geofences your client so that if they happen to walk into an open house with their cell phone, you know about it. So if you wanna talk about getting ahead of the curve, and I'm talking about offense and defense, so you have a Home IQ where you're staying in front of them with the Real Estate Wealth Digest. If they walk into an open house, you get notified. Usually they're walking in an open house before they're listing their house or before they're going to a lender. So you've got like a monitor-based type setup with the defense, and you've got like the Home IQ for the offense. You start mixing in happy birthday cards. Okay, so like I used to do a um, a handwritten birthday cards, and actually, let me be real with your audience here. My wife used to help me with this, okay, because it was like 300 birthdays a, uh, a month for me, and what I would do is I would put a $1 lotto ticket, a scratch off in there, and I would put a postscript that says, "Shoot me an email at team@winningwithwade.com to let me know if you win." No business cards, so just a lotto ticket. A lot of times they would email, and when they do, they usually are emailing from their best email address, and then you cross-reference that with your CRM to keep your CRM updated. The only problem with that Yeah, the only problem with that is the guy at 7-Eleven thought I had a gambling addiction because I would buy, 300, lotto tickets at a time, and it was rough, but I stopped doing that, honestly. I can't even my drawer is too full. Um, I I stopped doing that only because I was getting so many of them returned. So even though I've got a really good dialed in post-closing client retention system, like people still move and don't tell us. Okay. And so I got sick of, I don't know, maybe a third of my birthdays were coming back to me. And you got to remember too, I'm calling them as well. I call the day before. So on Mondays, I call Monday and Tuesday's birthday. On Tuesday, I call Wednesdays. Wednesday, I call Thursday. Thursday, I call Friday. Friday, I call Saturday and Sunday. So my big heavy birthday call list are Monday and Fridays. But I
I was gonna throw in. I'm not really producing anymore. I mean, I still do some loans, I guess, but I don't actively produce. But when I was heavy into doing it, I also did the birthday thing, and I went through so many different little things. The one I ended up doing that I actually loved the most, and it was the cheapest, was I bought these fake $1 million bills,
Oh, yeah.
and they looked pretty good, right? But
Yep.
obviously, it's $1 million deal; it's fake. And I would send them one of those, and oftentimes, uh, sometimes I know both the husband and wife equally.
Yep.
Other times, I really only talk to the husband. So if it was the wife's birthday, I would actually send it to the husband, and I would say, "Hey, Bob, I'm sure you remembered, but it's your wife's birthday. So just in case, I wanted to remind you. And number two, stop being so cheap and buy her something nice. And don't tell her it was me, right? and and that always got them to call back, right? But it was my humor. It was, and they knew that because they knew me. So
It's
it
funny.
was easy to do.
Exactly.
But anyways, it's the touch, right? And it matters. All of it matters. You got to keep touching your clients.
Absolutely, but I pivoted away from the handwriting because 1, it took a lot of time, and it's expensive. I mean, it was card stock, the lotto tickets, etcetera. What I ended up doing, though, is using a company called, they rebranded, so they're called Unique Lith it's a mouthful, Unique Litho, terrible name. I know it's hard to say. But the reason I use them is because they will take your list, they will cross-reference it with the, just moved list from the post office, and that list goes back 18 months. And then they will send your mail to the correct the correct address, and then they will give you the new address. So then I take that and I send that to my virtual team, and I have them update my CRM so that it stays as accurate as I can possibly make it. Because we're in the data business, guys. Like, we need to protect our data and then leverage that data with activities for ROI purposes.
So I think that's so important. And the one thing I'll just add to that, right, is for all you guys listening right now, man, there is nothing worse than a CRM that it's got 3 jobs, right? 3 jobs ago,
Yeah,
or 2 wives ago, maybe, right? Or something like that. It's like, come on, you guys, keep up on it, right? And I've said it a million times to my people, like, why are you upset that they didn't call you when they bought this next house?
dude,
Would you have called you?
it's
Because
I will tell you that's exactly what happened to me one time. This happened when I was in retail. The company I worked for serviced their loans, and so I got a payoff, and so I called, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I was like, Why didn't you call me?" And Dino, like, it was eye opening. He goes, "Why would I call you? I've literally never heard from you from closing." And he wasn't wrong. And so, like, it's these types of things when you get your nose bloodied where you're like, "I should do better." So, like, now I wouldn't even phrase it like, well, like, accusatory, like, "Why didn't you call me?" It's like, well, it's not their job to remember you. It's your job to make sure that they can't forget. So, like, what are you doing to proactively stay in front of them? You're still gonna lose people, and you've all heard the gurus that are like, "Oh, you should 10% of your database is moving every year." And it's like, "I've got 2,000 plus past clients. Do you think I'm not doing 200 closings a year. That would be fantastic." So, like, there's a delta that I need to bridge the gap and continue to try to do better and better with retaining my past client database. But guess what? Those mega servicing companies out there, the Mr. Coopers of the world, they're gonna make it harder and harder for us to do that. So if you don't wanna continuously have to prospect for new opportunities, you have to love on the people that should already know, like, and trust you because you did your job the right way the first time. So they have no reason to not use you a second time unless you're out of sight, out of mind.
so let's talk about this, right? I mean, I read, you answered all my questions early before the podcast, right? And I
Mhm.
read through it, started dissecting a lot of it, and you said one of the things you're really good at is this post close and maintaining a client base, right? So you play offense, you play defense. I wrote that down because I really love the concept of that, right? Like, in order to win a game, you can't just be an offense guy, right? You got to
Right.
prevent the other shots from coming in.
Yeah.
So really, really cool there. Those are all little touches that are necessary, but they're not the big touches. What else do you do to maintain that and to say that 65% of your closed loans come from your past database? There's got to be bigger than that, right, throughout the year. So if you want, you could walk me through a loan just funds today. What happens for the next 365 days?
So loan closed today, you're gonna get a first Thursday phone call. Let me back up even further because I don't attend my closings, okay? So you're gonna get a call from me the day after. Wanted to check to see how everything went. That's a lot of documents to throw at you all at once. Do you have any after the fact questions for me? They almost never do, but if they do, answer it, and then the next thing out of your mouth is, "Thank you so much for trusting me. I really appreciate it. If I could ask a favor, I'm trying to get as many five-star Google reviews as I possibly can. if I send you a link, would you mind putting some kind words together for me? It would really mean a lot to me and my family. So every single word I said there was very intentional. Like the whole mean a lot to me and my family. I literally want them thinking of like my kids with like the porridge bowl with like the please sir, can you put a review in the bowl? Can I have more? Like that's what I'm looking for here. So like, but again, I'm not naive. Like not every file goes well. So I don't want to automate the review process because let's be honest, sometimes you break a few eggs. Like I've got a file going right now. We're doing everything we can to save it, and I'm not going to be asking her for for a review after the fact. But you know, most of your files should go well, okay? Because you did a good intake interview. You fully
Let
documented
me
the file.
pause. Let me pause there real quick. I'm gonna ask a couple things, then I want to get back to
Okay,
the
go for it.
post campaign, right? But you call personally, or do you have somebody call for that?
No, no, me.
You. Now, I'm going to ask this question because a lot of producers, they hand it off in the beginning. They don't stay all that involved. Sometimes they make a call in between, whatever it might be. Here's my viewpoint. Do you deserve the right to call them and ask them for that? And when I ask that question, I ask it because did you create a relationship with them from that first time to that day? Or did somebody else in the team handle everything? And now you're just coming in for the, hey, thanks for putting some money in my pocket. You mind giving me a 5-star review? Like, what makes you think you deserve it?
So to be clear, like I'm still involved in my files. But again, full disclosure, like where I was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, like it's evolved over time. So I take far fewer initial phone calls that leads come in than I ever have. My team captain, I've literally worked with her for 15 years. She takes a lot of those. So she's loan officer Wade, while I am actually branch manager Wade, chief strategy officer Wade, you know, broker action coalition, like, you know, the wearing the different hats. So she handles a lot of stuff that comes in. So, but like if I'm taking the lead intake, I believe a loan officer has 4 main jobs on the first leg of the loan relay race. Make the phone ring, have the initial hopes and dreams conversation, nurture that lead to complete the application, and then hand up the file to your pre-approval team so that they can execute well. And what I mean by that is like the first time the client and partner learn that there's another cook in the kitchen shouldn't be when that person calls to introduce themselves. Like the loan officer has to set it up for success. They need to make notes in the file. Now, I don't want them to really do anything once the application is received. That's the pre-approval team's job. Some LOs want to do it all themselves, others don't. I don't care who does what on which team in my under my umbrella. I just care that the origination team turns in a complete file, and the litmus test for that, I got this from Scott Groves, strive for 5. So I want 5 or fewer borrower-facing conditions when the file comes out of underwriting.
Okay, so you do deserve it. You have a system. We'll move past that. You've made the call. You get your Google review. You have your a picture of your kids all dirty and poor looking and
Yeah.
skinny and needing a little extra funds. Okay, got that. What happens after that? Walk me through this process.
So immediately after the closing, they get the post-closing honor call. So it's a real gratitude call. Then I say, hey, I'm going to stay in touch as this kind of turns into the first payment. I'll be in touch. They get a first Thursday call after that. Hey, I just wanted to check in. You got closed last week. I wanted to make sure still nothing came up. Do you need anything from me? No, great. Thank you again for your willingness to leave me, like whatever it is. Like you get that Thursday call sets up what the next 30 years look like. So you need to make sure that they know that they're going to get a monthly real estate wealth digest. That you're going to invite them to an annual financial review each year. Okay? So when you're asking like what the steps are, like if you just did a home IQ report, that's better than nothing. That's way better than nothing. But if you can do that and make a happy birthday call, that's great. If you can do that and offer an annual financial review, that's even better. Notice, Dino, I didn't say mortgage review. No one with a 3% interest rate wants a mortgage review, but everyone with a 3% interest rate needs a financial review. And if you really stop and think about it, about a third of America has a financial planner in their life or some kind of financial professional, but 2/3 of America has a mortgage, like owns real estate. So, like, loan officers need to realize that we could be by far the most qualified financial person in that client's life. And we are on the opposite side of the financial advisor coin. They're in the asset management business. We're in the liability management business. So that annual financial review, that is the secret to retaining clients. And you will be shocked at how many referrals you will be able to give out to your partners. Like, think like a estate planner, homeowners insurance reviews, life insurance. There's lots of referrals outbound that you can offer, and then they in turn then feed you. So you might not get direct business from an annual financial review, but you'll be able to refer out so much business that you become indispensable to your partners. And then they then feed you more.
So I want to, I'm going to dwell for a minute on your annual financial review, but I don't want to leave too much of that gap missing before I get there, because I want to dwell on that when we get there. In between, what does that process look like other than the monthly automated email from My Home IQ? Do you have any other touch points that are super important?
3 6-month touch points, nothing special, honestly. Dino, I would love to sit here and tell you that I can do the letters of the alphabet. And that's, you sort your past client database by last name, and you call the A's and B's this week, the C's and D's next week, so on and so forth. That'll give you 4 extra phone calls a year. I don't have the bandwidth to do that because I've got thousands of past clients. I would literally have to hire a dialer whose sole job is to do that. And I've got friends that they do have that. It's part of their post-client retention system. That's just not where I'm at. So I'm doing a first Thursday call. I'm setting them up with the HomeBot, Home IQ. I'm touching base with them with a birthday call. I do a birthday postcard. If a defensive opportunity pops up to where I can, they listed their home or their credit score got where they want it to be or need it to be. Maybe that I'm looking out for their interest rate, just whatever it could be. Like, there's some manual pieces to this, but by and large, there's still room for improvement. I don't want your audience to think that, oh, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's just way better than most people do.
Sure.
Okay.
And I'll throw one thing in there. I don't know if you do it or not, but my recommendation for anybody listening right now is, everything Wade is talking about, you should absolutely do. If I could add one thing to it, is for a little bit of offense at the very beginning, before you even close on, with that client, you let them know through all these expectations of what they can expect of you. And I would tell them up front that, they're going to get, at the end, they're going to get this tool. It's going to keep and monitor their home value. It's super important that you open it up. If you ever see anything wrong with it, or you see anything kind of like, the value's not there, make sure you call me. And then finally, every year you can expect this out of me like clockwork. We're going to do a financial review, and you explain to them what that entails up front. And then when that time comes, it's not a big surprise to them, right? Because you told them that at the very beginning. So you guys listen to that, right? Because it's important. First of all, if you're going to say you're going to do something, what's the number one thing you need to do? You need to do it.
Yeah.
So I personally am the type of person where if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, then I do it on purpose, because that forces me to do it, because then I feel like a real jackass if I don't. So make a habit of telling everybody what working with you means for the next 30 years. And I say that because you said something, Wade, that I love. And I think it's how we all need to be thinking. You said, what does the next 30 years look like? And all too often, mortgage advisors, right? And I say this a lot. Loan officers have a job, mortgage advisors have a career. A loan officer doesn't think 30 years out. A true mortgage advisor starts thinking 30 years out. How am I going to help this family get that house paid off? Not how am I going to, you know, obligate them to more money
Right.
constantly, right?
So
Work
Dino,
with them so they know what your goal is for them and they'll never, ever want to leave.
so what I'll tell people is that, because what you just said is true. Like your value proposition, uh, really should be, I need your retirement to be better off because of me rather than in spite of me. I can't just shackle you with this giant debt and then not stay in touch to help you proactively manage that debt. So you're going to have changes along the way that I need to be involved with. Maybe you want to buy a second home. Maybe you need to consolidate debts. Maybe you need an introduction to an estate planning attorney. Like that's who I'm personally networking with. CPAs, financial planners, estate attorneys, family law attorneys. Like I'm going to let the real estate agent worry about the painter and the fence guy and the roofer. Like I'm not spending my networking time with those individuals. I even when that comes up, and it does, I'm using that as an opportunity to tag the real estate partner in to make them look good. But I'm going to spend my time post closing making sure their retirement is better off because of me.
I love that. Um, I'm looking for this thing you said. You do something like some sort of a tracker, right?
Oh, a sales activity. I got it right here. Hold on, you'll die.
Yeah. Tell us about the sales activity tracker.
So I've done this every day of every week of every month of every year for over 11 years. And to show you that I'm not full of it, I keep all of them, and I got this out of my closet. Ugh. So like it's really there's every single one, literally going back to 2015, January of 2015. So I pull that out for dramatic effect, of course, and just a couple things. Like, do you think for a second I like doing that? Hell no. It is it is it is a terrible exercise, but you know what I do like? The paychecks that come from it. Okay? So the document this is my own creation. So like it's an amalgamation of all the coaching I've received over the last decade. The front page is like the old school stuff. Face to faces, breaking breads, talk tos, thank you cards, etc. Okay? You should spend 80% of your time on this. If you can't write it on the form, you should do as little of it as possible. All right? The backside is the social media side. So how many reels on Facebook are you posting, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn? How many friend requests are you making with realtors and referral partners? How many comments are you engaging on stories in the feed? How many blog posts are you doing for SEO purposes? How many Google reviews are you getting? How many long form YouTube videos are you doing? So on and so forth. This is a giant pain in the butt too. Okay. But I think where loan officers get, yeah, I think where loan officers get confused is they think that social media is going to be the cure for mortgage cancer, and it's not. It's a great branding tool, but you shouldn't spend more than 20% of your time on social media. 80% of it needs to be the telephone and face to face. Face to face is the engine of your business. The telephone is the gasoline. So you need to put gas in the car to make it go. But social media is great to build your personal brand. So you can see winning with Wade. You've got your ethos brand right there front and center. That's the brand. So I find, and this is just my truth, my experience, your experience could be different. My experience is that short form content, it leads to great branding, general awareness, and some business. But if you want real leads direct from consumer, it's all about YouTube. It's all about YouTube. You got to do long form YouTube content. At this point, I'm about 2 years into doing 2 long form YouTube videos per week on my channel. Okay. I take the transcripts of those videos and I use AI to help me create SEO optimized blog articles. So when you stop and think about it, I look really good to AI, to the internet, to Google. I show up in chat. Like if you search right now, it could change in the future, but if you search right now, best mortgage broker in Dallas, I show up. If you search for that on Google, I show up in the 3-pack. You know how hard it was for me to get to the 3-pack of Google natively? So like that took years of getting 5-star Google reviews consistently, having a fully optimized Google business profile, being an active participant on YouTube. And so like I've got friends, they're 5 and 6 years into doing 2 long form videos per week on YouTube. Did it? Yeah.
Number 3 on Google, buddy. Good for you.
Yeah.
In all of Dallas, Texas. That's
Right.
awesome.
Exactly. So, but it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy to do. It takes consistency. So my goal is to post at least 45 times across all my platforms. Okay. So like whether that's, that the reel that I put on Facebook personal can go on Facebook business, can go on TikTok, can go on Instagram, and it can go on possibly YouTube shorts. So one video can be 5 posts. One story on Facebook can also go on Instagram. So you do that 7 days a week. That's 14 pieces of content. You get where I'm going with this? So like you can repurpose a lot of it, but like the one YouTube video, I can then turn into a blog article and just over and over again. So like I said, I've got friends that are further down the road than I am with my YouTube project. And like one of my good friends that has way far ahead of me, he did $30+ million of business from his YouTube channel last year. Like I didn't come close to that. So like I'm not above being jealous of other people's businesses. The difference is I'm willing to put in the work to get there. But make no mistake, that YouTube play, that is the 5-year thing. So the mistake people make with social is that they want it to be an immediate ROI, and it's not. It takes a lot of time to have that really move the needle for revenue, which is why the phone is so important. So that sales activity tracker, that's the hill I die on. Okay. So the loan officers that I know that do that consistently, and I mean that every week, they're having higher highs and higher lows in their business. The ones that do it occasionally are the ones that have occasional success. And the ones that fight me on it are the ones that are complaining to me about their lack of results. And it's just, I'm polite about it, but it's like, don't complain to me about results you're not getting from work you're not doing. Okay. So like if you're coming to me for like coaching and whatnot, I'm going to ask to see your last 4 weeks of sales activity. And if you tell me, oh, well, I don't have it, like, how do I even know you're making the effort? So like attitude and effort are the only 2 things that you can control. My wife tells me that all the time. So have a good attitude. There's opportunity everywhere. All right. And then effort. And we track the effort with the sales activity tracker. So if you're not even tracking the sales activity, how do I know that you're even making the effort? Like, show me that you're making the effort. Then it can be a coaching thing. Who you're targeting, what are you saying? Then we can get strategic with it. But if and most LOs don't even put in nearly the amount of effort that they need to move the needle.
Actually, before I ask the next question, that sales tracker document, is that proprietary or are you willing to share it?
No, I send that out to everybody that'll listen. And it's literally like a combination of like the core growth only coaching and like, the Freedom Club. I've even added like a line at the bottom for like physical activity, just yes or no stuff. Like, can
you send that to me? And if you guys, anybody that's interested, go to our website, dinocatsiametis.com. I know that's a mouthful. Just Google Dino the Way podcast. You'll end up there, and just go to Wade's section. You'll see, I'll have a PDF in there for you. You can just download it. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. By the way. And it evolves. I tweak it from one year to the next, depending on kind of what's going on.
And now I want to try tying this together, because the sales tracker, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would imagine some of the things you have to do in there that you force yourself to do are a big part of why you have such a great repeat business, right? Like why you get so many referrals from your past clients. Is there a piece in there where you got to call clients, you got to call realtors, you got to call, like, what is? What would you say? And I know it's a combination, but out of all of the things in there, of the 80% side, right? 20% was social, 80% was phone calls. What does that look like?
It's hard, honestly. So all of us,
Hey, for everybody listening right now, scratch that out of your mind. It's not hard. It's super easy.
yeah,
And more importantly, it'll make you a lot of money.
it will make you a lot of money. So where it starts is honestly the Sunday evening routine. So every Sunday, I have on my calendar. If I showed you my ideal, a perfect week at a glance, right now you have Sunday afternoons. That's what I'm doing. My Sunday evening routine. I'm previewing the week ahead and reviewing the week prior. So it helps keep me straight. I'm making sure I have all my call list ready to go. Um, if the weekends where I don't do a Sunday evening routine, the next weeks really suffer. So the weeks that I do a Sunday evening routine, I start the week off good with on Monday, and then Monday sets the tone for the rest of the week. So you want to win the day, you got to win it by noon. You want to win the week, you got to win Monday. So that's what I would say. So having your call list made is the hardest part. And that's where I start with loan officers that come to me internally. Like, where do I start? You start with your list. Every single coaching that I've ever been a part of, just so you like, oh no, it's the same 6 things. Okay. They put all their little spins on it, but it's the same 6 things. Have a list of people to call the list, look to top grade the list. So the quality of people that are on the list, pair it with theme days, track your sales activity, and then build a team to cater to your business and life. If you want to add a 7th, I would say build a personal brand and like content create. But like it's all this, like all of it's the same stuff. So the knowledge is out there, guys. The internet's a great place. You got AI now. The knowledge is free. It's the accountability that typically costs you, and it's a price that most people aren't willing to pay. That's why I get so much resistance to tracking sales activity.
Yeah. Man, I'm listening to all this stuff, right? And it reminds me of a story. I just interviewed Josh Metal not too long ago, and he told me something, I don't know, 15 years ago now. And I asked him one day, I called him up one day and I'm like, hey man, how do you always do so much volume, right? Like, can I pick your brain? And he told me, well, first, everything he told me, I was like, I do that, but like he's crushing me. So what is it I'm not doing? Well, here's what it was. Every day for 2 hours, he would make outbound phone calls.
Yeah.
And if somebody was hot, he wouldn't necessarily stop. He'd get back to them. Somebody wanted to, he'd get back to them. He just kept calling and calling and calling, right? And I finally did it. And man, I made $25,000 that day, just by making outbound phone calls for 2 hours. And as difficult as my mind made it out to be, I actually really enjoyed it because I got a chance to reconnect with people that I enjoyed, right? Realtors, hey man, I like you. You're giving me business. Like,
Yeah.
why don't I want to talk to you more often, right? Clients, they were actually really happy to hear from me. Why? Because I was so personal with them during the transaction. I became like family to them. In their eyes, I helped them get into their home. It's a big deal, you guys. Don't ever undersell what you do for a living. And keep in touch with these people. They are your book. They're your portfolio. And yeah, I interviewed Eric Levin from Model Match.
Yes.
And I loved how he personalized it by saying, this is your portfolio. It's your portfolio. It's not your database. It's your portfolio, man. Like, these are your clients. And the second you stop acting like that is the second you lose your clients. They go somewhere else. So love all of that. And I can't wait to get my hands on that sales tracker. And I want to share it out with everybody. And heck, guys, I would say, do me a favor, email me or Wade. And if you want us to either pat you on the butt or give you a punch in the face, we will do it for you. Why? Because both of us care. Both of us actually want to see everybody in this industry succeed. And if you need a little push or a punch in the face, I'm willing to do that for you. If you need a pat on the butt, like
Yeah.
great job, words of affirmation is your love language, I'll do that for you too. But the point is do it. You
Right.
gotta have motion. You gotta have activity. Without it, there's no chance of ever getting anything.
Yeah. I've got a couple people, a handful of people actually that are outside of my company that send me their sales activity tracker on a regular basis. Some of them much more regular than my own team. Okay. So it is, that's the secret, guys. The hill I will die on is if you can measure it, it can be improved. The sales activity tracker, it's not a fun exercise, but do you think for a second I would have done that every single week for over a decade if they didn't have results? So if you want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, if not millions of dollars a year, track your sales activity. If you don't want that, well then don't. It's okay. Be inconsistent.
Yeah, you know what else to after hearing you talk about all this, I think it's important to say your sales activity tracker, 80% is telephone calls and like connection with people, 20% is social media. I'm going to venture out to say that the majority of the loan officers out there are going to pick the 20% as what they're going to get most hyped up about because it's going to appear to be easier.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you firsthand that it's not. It is so much harder. Yes, it's super easy to put a stupid post up today. Yes, it's super easy to maybe even like, share a video or create something. But Wade nailed it when he talked about consistency. And I'm not talking about a week, right? Wade said 5 years on YouTube. 5 years, you guys. But I can tell you this, unless you're already 60 years old, 5 years will come and go pretty quick. So get started today. Best time to plant a tree was 25 years ago. If that
Good.
didn't happen, yesterday. If that didn't happen right now, no time to waste. Plant that tree. Start the process. But if you plant a seed and you water it, and then all of a sudden you forget about it, if it's not mature enough, guess what? It's dying on you.
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing. This is what your business is. You plant a seed, you water it, you nurture it, you start pruning it a little bit at some point because that's super important. If you don't prune your business at some point, you end up getting bogged down with stupid shit, and that keeps you from growing. So I think that's super important. And then every once in a while, you got to throw a little fertilizer in there. You got to go out and talk to it, give it a little love. That's what you do with your clients. That's what you do with your realtors. That's what you do with your CPAs, your financial planners, your attorneys, right? Like that's how you grow a business. I used to have a coach and he said, stop picking fruit, start planting trees. Pretty
Right.
soon you're going to have your own orchard. Like that's how you grow and keep a thriving business and keep it sustainable. So, man, I really loved talking with you today. But you're not done. I got a few more questions for you, and then you're done.
Hit me up.
All right. So, first question, pretty basic. What's your favorite book?
Business book. I have really liked the coffee bean piece. I have it right here on my desk, actually, ironically enough, because I read it recently. I like that a lot. That speaks to me because if you are trying to improve your environment, that's the easiest way to visualize it. So, just for those of you that haven't read it, I'll give you the 10-second synopsis here. So the author was sentenced to prison. Before he went in, he asked around for what to expect. And basically, the metaphor here is that prison is a pot of boiling water. There's three things that are going to go into the pot. A carrot goes in hard, comes out soft. An egg goes in soft, comes out hard. A coffee bean goes in and improves the environment around it. So, Dino, you're the coffee bean for your audience. You're trying to improve their environment. You're the coffee bean for your family, for your friends, for your coworkers, for your referral partners. So if more of us went through life being the coffee bean, the world would be a much better place. So that's the book that I've loved the most recently, and I've gotten the chance to meet Damon West twice now, and he's awesome. Ironically, his crimes happen like walking distance from my house. So every time I see him, he's had a pretty funny quip about, "Ah, yes, I know your neighborhood well." I'm sure you
You know what's
do.
funny, man, is I ended up, when we were at GrowthCon,
Yeah,
I ended up meeting him. I ended up having lunch with the guy,
nice.
and he's such a nice guy.
I
You know, he is such a nice guy. So it's one of my favorite books as well. Yeah, and it's such an easy read, right? So if you're not a big reader, it's fine. You can read this thing or listen to it. I think it's like 20 or 30 minutes. That's it.
Yeah,
I actually had my kids listen to it, and and it gave us something to talk about and explain to them, like, hey, man, the world is hard. Everything about it. You think school is a pot of boiling water?
sure.
Just wait.
Yeah,
But it's your choice, right? It's your choice what you do with it. So great book. Thank you for that recommendation. Now, the $1 million drop. I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to drop you off somewhere in the United States where you don't know anybody. You have all the knowledge you have, but you don't have your database, right? And I'm going to keep you from seeing or talking to your family. No more Mardi Gras for you. No more nothing, man. You gotta make $1 million doing loans before you can see your family or go back to Mardi Gras.
gotcha. So I think that realtors are going to be the fastest path to that answer. Okay. I think there's three core strategies to do this, with a fourth one, which I'll touch on at the very end. So that's going to be the right now money is at the other end of a telephone. But if you're putting me in a brand new place with no brand, no nothing, I would focus on the telephone, again, the 80%, but I would also start filming content to establish a presence in that local market. So I would do both, but it's 80-20. So the 80%, you want to add something there?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I agree because nobody knows you, so you gotta,
No.
you gotta. It's actually an opportunity.
Right.
I always tell everybody, ask yourself, how do you want everybody to perceive you?
Right.
And think about that, right? Like it's an important question. How do you want everybody to perceive you? And then create content around that.
Yes.
So that when somebody looks you up, man, that's what they see. They don't see some goofball out at the river with a bunch of thongs next to them, right? Like
Right.
who's gonna trust that person to get a loan from?
Exactly. So
Anyways, go ahead.
no, you're exactly right. Let me go down that rabbit hole for just a second. So if you go to my Instagram channel at Winning with Wade, what you will see on that grid is educational content with reels, quote reaction videos, testimonials, and then lifestyle posts. Okay. So the business content shows you I'm competent and good at what I do, and the lifestyle content makes me likable as a person. It's like if you take a deep dive into my Instagram, you'll see I absolutely love my wife. We go on dates all the time. I spend time with my kids, even if they roast me like we're at a Kevin Hart roast. It's just brutal. We go to sporting events a ton. We go to the movies a lot. We go out to eat, and then all of my charity work is veteran related. So I got my Y right over my shoulder here. So that's who I am as a person. So I'm attracting people that like that. If I was putting like just wild political rants or religious things or just bizarre stuff out there, I'm going to alienate a ton of people. But if you're like a family man that likes animals and kids and sports and it attracts more people to me. So that's what I would say. Like if you drop me in a brand new place, I'm going to create some content. I'm going to target the top producing agents on social, especially on social. But then I'm going to focus 80% of my effort on the telephone. Your whole goal, if you're dropped in a new city, is to pick up the phone and try to book as many face-to-face appointments as possible. That's it. That's the only reason you're calling, is to book a face-to-face appointment. And I would do it in one of three ways, and that turns into a fourth way. So I would do a FSBO strategy. So basically call FSBOs and basically offer to pre-approve any interested buyer. Ask them if they are open to paying a buyer's agent commission if a buyer's agent brings a buyer to the property. So now you've got a potential lead you can send a buyer's agent, and then 8 out of 10 FSBOs end up selling with a realtor anyway. So what you're angling is to be able to give an opportunity to a realtor. So FSBOs 1, stale listing strategy 2nd. So properties that are on the market for 40 days or more. And just to be clear, in the area that you want to work, at the price point that you want to work, perhaps you can even target qualified listing agents that have 6 or 8 or more buyer sides under their belt over the last 12 months. So you can get like really dialed in if you've got like a Reader or an MMI or Modex or something like that, model match. So like stale listings though, and I would offer to provide a 1-year 1-year temporary rate buy down as an incentive. So like for me, and with some of the lenders that I have that offer that, like that's going to cost me 7/8 of a point. So I would make 7/8 of a point less comp if I did that. But Dino, like I've been in the mortgage industry for 20 plus years. I can count on both hands how many times I've been brought in by the listing agent on a buyer on a file. In almost every instance, it's because the buyer's original lender dropped the ball so bad that the seller of listing agent is like, we'll only entertain an extension if you call Wade. Well, so for me, I'm making 7/8 of a point less comp, but that's found money for me. So I am happy to do. I'll do that all day long. I will be happy to stroke small checks for the to collect the big ones. So that's the second strategy. The third strategy is an open house strategy. So if I was even a brand new loan officer, I would tell someone, work up to the point where you're making 200 dials per week. I want you to attend 1 industry event per week minimum. So think happy hour, chamber meeting, title company event, builder open, Rotary Club, BNI group, just something where you're around a large group of people that could be potential referral partners. So at least one of those a week. And then the last thing I would do is that third strategy, which is open houses. I would go to 7 open houses per weekend for the first 3 years of my career. 7 open houses a week is 100 realtors in 100 days. And again, if you want to get really selective, you can start talking about the stale listing ones or the ones where the listing agent is a qualified agent, meaning 6 or 8 or more buy sides under their belt. So once you get enough activity on that and you meet face to face, for every 30 of those that you're targeting, you'll probably meet with 10. Of the 10, you'll get referrals from 2. So 30 dials, and you're not going to call once, just so we're clear too. You're calling 12 weeks in a row. So 12 weeks of calls. So of the 30 people, you'll meet with 10, you'll get referrals from 2. If you've got a great 12-week follow-up system after the face-to-face meeting, instead of 2 out of 10 that you meet with getting referrals from, you'll get 4 out of 10 referrals. So if you're brand new, you got nothing but time. So it's an effort thing. So once you've got the relationship, referrals are coming in, you've got some pre-approvals, and now you get a something under contract. That's where the fourth piece comes in, and that's where you start using the transaction as your audition. So the Tuesday update then becomes the most important theme day of the week, because now you're auditioning to the listing agent that you don't have a relationship with. Now you've been putting out content on social, building a brand. Hopefully they know of you, and now you're wowing them, and you basically use the transaction to get into a relationship. It's a translationship. Okay. And then the more closings that you do, the more at bats you have, the less of the other stuff that you have to do. So there's a loan officer, Robin Lavasser. She's unbelievable. Great human being too. She converts such a large percentage of her listing agents into referral partners that it's unheard of. Like it puts me to shame with it. So like the more business you do, your value proposition can be your client experience. And my favorite acronym is CARE, create a referable experience. So if you care, you'll get CCR referrals, you'll get introductions to other people, you'll get Google reviews, and you can only do that if you sweat. Same way every time.
I'm writing that down. Create a referable what? Experience.
CARE, create a referral experience. In order to do that, you have to sweat. Same way every time, which means you have to have systems, which stand for saving you stress, time, energy, and money. So you've got to have those things in place. And honestly, there's a great video that Tim Brahim did like a decade ago. He's since updated it, called The Perfect Loan Process. Like every single loan officer should watch that video, grab the transcript from, throw it into AI, and like just craft your own perfect loan process. And so, like the whole raving fan thing of what's your ideal process, what's the client's ideal process, merge them together, and then add 1%. Like that's what we were shooting for.
Yeah. That goes back to your R&D, rip off and duplicate.
It, I do a lot of that. So, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like none of what we talked about today is earth shattering. It's putting it in your process that is scalable, that you can do consistently. So occasionally great is not nearly as important as consistently good. So the whole win 3 days out of the week, you'll win the week. Win 3 weeks out of the month, you'll win the month. Win, 9 months out of the year, you'll win the year. Like you don't have to like be perfect all the time. That's not sustainable.
I'm going to poke a little fun here just because I know you have a great personality.
Go for it.
I know some of you guys are sitting here thinking, man, I don't know if I can talk like Wade does. Like Wade has something for everything. He's got all these acronyms. He's got all this stuff. And the truth is you can.
Yeah.
But what you got to do is you got to put in the effort like Wade has, right? He's watched all these other people. He's ripped off and duplicated.
Yeah.
He's put money into coaching, personal coaching. He's learned
hundreds.
It's taken a while
of coaching over the year.
Yeah.
I don't even,
but you can tell.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm going to poke a little fun, right? Just, I don't know if your wife ever says this to you, but I'll poke fun at myself too. My wife every once in a while, my wife says to me, she's like, do you ever get tired of hearing yourself talk?
my kids in particular, like, why do you talk to so many strangers? Like, dude, if dad's not meeting new people, you're not eating. Okay. So just, you're gonna have to put up with it.
But a long time ago, man, there was a party and I wanted to go. And my wife's like, why do you always want to go to these parties? Like, what are you so interested in? I'm like, because I'm going to make $10,000 tonight.
Right.
That's how I looked at every single party. I'm going to meet somebody and I'm going to make $10,000. And then one time we went to Cabo and we met these people at the pool, older couple, start talking to them. My wife, she's great once she's like brought into it and it all connects, but she cannot like start that whole thing. Right.
I gotcha.
So of course I started it. Next thing I know, we're having drinks together. Next thing you know, we're becoming friends. Next thing you know, he says, hey, my son's actually moving to Orange County.
Right.
And he's going to buy a house. He's blah, blah, blah. So he sets me up. Boom. I do a loan for his son. I do a refinance for his son. And then later his son refers me to somebody. Not only did I make more than $10,000, right? But I paid for my entire trip. So I said, honey, we should go to Cabo more often.
Right.
And we should talk to strangers in the pool more often.
It sounds like a business expense to me. That's all I'm hearing.
All right, dude. Listen, man, I thank you so much for your time today. Really just a true wealth of knowledge. I really appreciate you. And actually, before we go, I'm going to just throw a little shout out to our boy, because you and I met from him, Amir Syed from Go Coaching.
Yep.
Introduced us. We're both in his coaching program for branch managers, owners, anybody interested in learning how to recruit properly and run a division, right? Run a company.
Leadership.
So Go Coaching, fantastic. Amir to me is, a lot of people have said to me, man, Amir, blah, 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 right? I'm like, really? I like him.
Yeah.
He's bold, right? Like he has a lot of that, but hey, man, you can't succeed in this business unless you are bold. So step into it. That's all I have to say. And Amir, thank you. Appreciate you introducing us. Wade, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And, all you guys listening right now, thank you, because this podcast, I'll admit, I didn't start it thinking it was going to take off to this level. And the whole first year was a struggle. And I had great guests. And towards the end, I thought, hey, we're doing pretty good. And then bam, all of a sudden, one day it just exploded. And I just looked last week, it was up to 250,000 downloads. But we're increasing like crazy
Yeah.
every single day now. We're having, over 1,000. Well, let's see. We had over 2,200 downloads a day last month. So thank you guys. Really appreciate you. Don't forget, go to the social media, listen to the shorts, go to Apple, go to Spotify, listen to the whole thing, because that's really where the gold is. We're going to have downloadable playbooks for you guys on all this stuff. And do me a favor, just like Wade said earlier, right? If you enjoyed this, don't go to Google, go to Apple or Spotify and leave us a review and tell us that you enjoyed this podcast. So thank you. And Wade, appreciate you, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.